we're going to be doing this forever. I'm Aaron.
I'm Tom.
And this is Baby's First Watch List, back with an episode that actually makes sense for the podcast for once.
Yeah, this is the first one probably in a while.
That's kind of kiddish.
Yeah.
Kid light.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about the 1993 sports movie, The Sandlot, which Tom never saw before.
Correct.
That's weird.
I knew, many of the big quotes and the characters and everything.
Yeah, but it's still weird you hadn't seen it.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I was more into sports. I didn't really like sports. I still kind of don't really like sports movies as much as I like sports.
I like sports movies.
They're fine.
I'm like so into sports.
Yeah.
Love sports. My favorite thing. That's why I loved this movie. This movie was co-written, directed, and narrated by David Mickey Evans. And I'm going to do him a favor by not naming his other credits.
Okay.
A lot of later Beethovens in there.
Oh, the good ones that we were watching on...
No, past those.
Past the ones.
Those were the good ones
that
we saw on
Instagram.
Reels. The movie was co-written by Robert Gunter, who does not have a Wikipedia page. So, off to a good start.
Yeah.
However, I have
no. David Mickey Evans also directed Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to go through it because it's not good.
Okay.
All right. The cinematographer, though, there's a whole lot here.
Yeah.
So, Anthony B. Richmond has an interesting wiki page. He was one of the people who shot the final Beatles film, Let It Be. And that became the Peter Jackson one that came out a couple years ago on Apple TV.
Get Back, was it called?
Something like that, yeah. He also did a lot of horror. He did Candyman. I think he did Hood of Horror.
Shout out Tony Todd.
No, I don't think he did Hood of Horror. It was something with the word hood
Leprechaun?
in it. No.
Back to the Hood?
No, it wasn't that one. It was another one. And he did other stuff, he did the cinematography for Legally Blonde.
He did Tales from the Hood.
That's it, Tales from the Hood. So a bunch of horror movies that became cult classics. He was a cinematographer.
Oh, so it's not even our first Anthony B. Richmond movie.
No, because we did Legally
Blonde, yeah.
He also has 6 kids, including one named Chunky. I had to put that in there. And then he was married to Charlie's Angel, Jacqueline Smith, for a while. And did you know, fun fact, that's how our friend Jackie was named?
Really?
It's spelled like Jacqueline because of Jacqueline Smith.
Wow.
Yep, who was once married to Anthony B. Richmond.
Interesting. Do you think Jackie knows that Anthony B. Richmond is her uncle?
No, I don't think so. One of his other kids, George Richmond, he was the cinematographer for the Kingsman movies, Rocket Man, Free Guy, and the upcoming Deadpool 3.
Okay.
So a lot about the Richmonds here.
Yeah.
The music was by David Newman of Randy Newman family fame.
Yes.
He was Oscar nominated for the score to Anastasia. Did you see Anastasia?
I didn't.
We're going to have to do Anastasia. I loved that movie when I was a kid.
Okay.
So that helped the Newmans become the most Oscar-nominated extended family. They have 92 nominations.
Yeah. We've talked about this before at some point.
I think it was a trivia question once for us at trivia.
Okay.
And we didn't get it right.
Okay.
Or maybe it was when we were practicing for movie trivia.
I think it was when we were practicing.
Yeah.
Because we dominated real trivia.
We really just massacred them.
Yeah.
The cast of The Sandlot was mostly a bunch of kids who didn't become famous. That just is what it is. But it also featured James Earl Jones, who is very famous.
Yes.
And just he's acting.
And we just covered him in another baseball movie.
We did.
Field of Dreams.
Dennis Leary, who spells his name like Dennis from Peloton, which I just wish there was an extra N in there.
Denis Villeneuve, the director.
I gotta say, I want DENNIS.
Unless you're a Denis, unless you're a French guy.
That's fine, but I don't.
Or Claire Denis.
I don't think Dennis Leary's French.
I don't think so either. He's
He's
from
like a
Boston.
firefighter.
I think he's from Boston.
And then Karen Allen, who recently had this mean Daily Mail article about her that's what happened to her? But she looks fine. So I don't get it. She's in all the Indiana Jones movies and stuff. With an amazing runtime of 101 minutes.
It was good.
It was spot on. This coming-of-age movie was released in April of 1993, which I think is a good...
April.
Yeah, I think that's a good time for
It's
it.
the beginning of the baseball season.
Yeah, that's smart. The film got pretty good reviews.
People aren't sick of baseball yet.
Right. It had a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it ended up being a cult classic, making $34.3 million on its $7 million budget.
So we didn't grow up in like the 60s, obviously, but I feel like it's more of a millennial movie than any
Definitely.
other generation.
All of the kids that are our
Yeah.
age, kids
Yeah.
that are our age,
All of the grown
liked that
adults.
movie and grew up liking that movie.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it like in 1993 we were like,
One or
yeah,
two.
we
or-
didn't know what was going on. So it's interesting. But yeah, a lot of people
Well,
our age
what
like that
probably
movie.
happened was people who did grow up or in or around the 60s, like our parents, liked the movie because it was nostalgic and were like, oh, I want to show this to my kid when they're 5 or 6, and then it caught on with the kids when they were 5 or 6.
My thought too is like, I bet it was just like a Blockbuster hit, you know?
True.
Like you would just go to Blockbuster and you'd be like, all right, what can I watch?
The parents, again, were probably
and
like,
the
all right,
parents
what
would
can
be
we
like,
watch?
all right, this is a kid movie. This
Yeah.
sports, you like it.
Or like, oh, I remember when this came out and it was cute.
Yeah, exactly. My parents liked this movie.
Yeah, it
My
definitely-
grandma likes this movie.
It definitely was a second run type of movie.
That's
for
why
sure.
it's considered a cult classic.
Yeah.
One funny thing, in 1998, a former classmate of the filmmaker sued 20th Century Fox and the producers for defamation.
This is defamation.
What did I say? Deformation.
This is one of my trivias, but okay.
Saying that Squints was based on him and it was a derogatory portrayal that caused him humiliation. And then he didn't win.
He lost.
Yeah, he lost.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. And then a couple of direct to DVD sequels were released. The first one actually only had one person return. Do you know the answer to
James
who it
Earl
was?
Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but that's great.
What? Like, okay. Good for him. And apparently a Disney Plus series is with the original cast in the works, but that was as of 2019.
I
So
don't buy
who
it.
even knows? So that's honestly all I have on the Sandlot.
Okay.
What I will say before I ask for a summary from you is that I've always liked this movie. I feel like I've always known this movie. I don't remember the first time I saw it, but I feel like I've always watched it. So it's interesting that I married somebody who never saw it.
And who really likes sports.
Yeah, it's weird to me.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But I've seen it now, so
Yeah.
I fulfilled the prophecy.
And it's probably your favorite movie.
Yeah, it's up there, probably number 2 or 3 maybe.
All right, give me a summary.
All right. In the late spring of 1962, fifth grader Scott Smalls, played by Tom Gyrie, I think is how you say his name. I didn't look it up, but that's how it
Geary, maybe?
maybe Geary, moves to the San Fernando Valley in California with his mother and new stepfather, Bill, played by Dennis Leary. Who played the mom, do we know?
Karen Allen.
Oh, Karen Allen, duh. Although he prefers to play with his erector set in his room, his mother encourages him to make friends. As school ends and summer begins, he tries to join a group of 8 boys who play baseball daily at the neighborhood Sandlot, but all of them, except their leader and best player, Benjamin Franklin Benny Rodriguez, played by Mike Vitar, are scornful of Small's inability to catch and throw the ball. He gets made fun of quite a bit. In an attempt to improve his skills, Smalls plays catch with Bill, but a stray throw leaves him with a black eye. Nevertheless, Benny invites him back to the team as a left center outfielder. Despite skepticism from the rest of the team, Benny helps Smalls earn their respect. At their next game, Ham, played by Patrick Renna, gets a turn at bat with Benny as catcher. De Nunez, played by Brandon Quinton Adams, who's the pitcher, taunts Ham with his trademark heater pitch, and Ham, in response, hits a home run into an adjacent backyard, much to the team's chagrin. Smalls attempts to retrieve the ball, but the entire team stops him. That night, the team has a camp out in the nearby treehouse where Squints, I forgot the actor's name here, Chauncey Leopardi, tells Smalls about the Beast, a legendarily fearsome English Mastiff living behind the fence. According to Squints, about 2 decades ago, Mr. Myrtle, who owns the property behind the Sandlot, had bought a puppy to serve as a guard dog, and it grew to monstrous proportions, and it killed several people who tried to break in.
Thieves.
Eventually, Squints is, what did they say, like 170 thieves or something like that?
He goes 173 thieves. Something like that.
Eventually, Squints' grandfather, who was chief of police at the time, served Mr. Myrtle a court order to chain up the beast forever. Ever since then, every baseball hit into the yard over the fence has been claimed by the beast. It's even rumored that another kid once climbed the fence but did not live to tell the story.
Spooky.
One particularly hot day, Benny begrudgingly agrees to go to the pool with the team in lieu of playing baseball. Squints is infatuated with the lifeguard Wendy Peppercorn and fakes drowning to receive mouth-to-mouth resuscitation from her. He then kisses her and she kicks the boys out, but the incident somehow cements her and Squints' relationship. The team later plays a 4th of July night game by the light of fireworks, and Smalls observes that, though the rest of them regard baseball as just a game, to Benny, baseball was life.
Ball is life.
Literally, the originator of ball is life, Benny the Jet. They later engage in a verbal scuffle led by Ham with a rival Little League team and easily defeat them in a challenge game on the team's diamond. They celebrate their victory at a fair where a combination of Big Chief chewing tobacco and going on one of the spinning rides causes a disastrous mess for themselves and everyone around them, and you can only imagine if you haven't seen it. One day, Benny literally hits the cover off the team's only ball. While they're all amazed and they interpret it to be an omen, Benny is bummed that their game is over. With Bill away on business in Chicago, Smalls borrows his prized baseball autographed by Babe Ruth to keep the game going.
Because he doesn't know who Baby Ruth is.
Earlier on in the movie, they were like, "Oh, the Great Bambino," and he was like, "Who's the Great Bambino?" And it was like a whole thing about how he didn't know who Babe Ruth was. But they didn't tell him that the Great Bambino was Babe Ruth.
Right.
So he still doesn't.
Well, because he was like, yeah, I know him.
Oh, I know him. Yeah. Smalls is next at bat, and he hits his first home run, sending it into the Beast's yard, which, like...
LOLs.
LOL. Smalls, who has not fully recovered from the carnival incident, panics after learning of the value of the ball and the significance of Babe Ruth's autograph from the other boys, and that Babe Ruth was the Great Bambino that Smalls had overheard them talking about earlier, and he collapses. The team pool in their savings to buy a replacement ball on which they forge Babe Ruth's signature to temporarily replace the autographed ball. Small suggests going to Mr. Myrtle for further assistance, but Squints insists he will not help them. The team attempts to recover the ball with various makeshift devices, but each attempt is sabotaged by the Beast. That night, Benny dreams he met the spirit of Babe Ruth, who advises him to rescue the ball himself with the words, "Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you'll never go wrong."
That's good stuff.
Equipped with a new pair of PF flyers, Benny retrieves the ball by pickling the Beast and leaping back over the fence, but the dog breaks its chain and chases him through town, wreaking havoc along the way. Benny races back to Mr. Myrtle's yard, but the Beast crashes through the fence, which falls down on top of it. Smalls and Benny free the dog, who gratefully licks Smalls' face and leads them to its stash of baseballs. They meet Mr. Myrtle, who turns out to have been a baseball player and a friendly rival of Babe Ruth, but subsequently became blinded by being struck by a pitch. He kindly trades them the chewed-up ball for a Murderer's Row ball autographed by all the 1927 New York Yankees, including both Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth, and asks them to visit every week to talk baseball. While Bill loves the Murderer's Row ball, he's still displeased about his Babe Ruth autograph ball being stolen and chewed up, and grounds Smalls for a week, which Smalls said, "Yeah, no, that's fair."
That's more than fair.
Yeah. Afterwards, their relationship improves and Smalls begins to call him Dad. The boys continue to play on the Sandlot the rest of that summer and subsequent summers through their junior high school years with the Beast, whose real name is Hercules, as their mascot. Eventually, they go their separate ways and go on to do a variety of things, including one of them named Yeah is enrolled in military school, enlists in the army, and later develops bungee jumping. One of them disappears into the counterculture movement of the late 60s, early 70s. Timmy and Tommy, who were brothers, become an architect and contractor, and they become extremely wealthy when they invent the mini mall. Squints marries Wendy, and they have 9 kids and run the local drugstore. Ham becomes a professional wrestler known as the Great Hambino. And De Nunez plays AAA baseball, but just shy of making the majors, becomes a business owner and coaches Little League. Benny becomes a local legend after his pickling of Hercules, who lives to be about 199 years old in dog years, and earns the nickname Benny the Jet Rodriguez well into his adult years. As an adult, Smalls becomes a sports commentator and remains friends with Benny, now a player for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Performing the play-by-play for a Dodgers game, Smalls cheers Benny on as he steals home to win the game, and they give each other the same thumbs-up sign they have shared since childhood. Afterwards, Smalls looks around his broadcast booth at the Murderer's Row ball, the chewed-up Babe Ruth ball, the forged Babe Ruth ball, which he keeps on display, and other mementos, including a photo of the Sandlot team from '62, as he remembers that first summer with the team. The Sandlot.
Listen, I love this
It's
movie.
great. It's great.
It's
I feel like
amazing.
I feel like you set it up beforehand as if I was going to think it was bad.
Yeah, I
by the way
kind
that
of
you
thought.
said it.
I kind of thought.
No, it's great.
I think it's one of my favorites. I just love it.
It does exactly what it sets out to do.
And that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
You could tell.
And guess who also liked it for that reason.
Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
You can tell that this is a passion project of the directors.
And it's personal.
And it's personal.
To some degree.
And then it just reminds me of Gene Shepard stuff.
Well, yeah.
I love
like
Gene. I grew up with Gene Shepard stuff.
Ebert called it a summer version of A Christmas Story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, I grew up listening to it. Pop gave me his CDs, and then I read Gene Shepard's one of his books, which I didn't understand the title to. In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, which is really cute. But as a kid, I was like, I don't know what that means. And then, like, I love A Christmas Story, so this reminds me of that, and so I like it.
Yeah.
But I think it's good in its own merit too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so let's see here. Number one of the kind of funniest moments is at the carnival when they do the chewing tobacco and all barf and stuff. It's pretty funny. What are some of your carnival memories that you have? Because you have St. Stan's by you, right?
Yeah.
Stanislaus.
Have some respect for my Polish king.
I don't know. I didn't grow up there.
My friends and I used to go every summer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I want to know.
We didn't really do the rides because, like, I don't know. I've always been scared of carnival rides more than any other ride. But there was one thing that we started doing a little bit later on, close to, it might have been high school. We used to go to the cake stand, and all of us would just throw money down for the cakes, and it would be us and like 80-year-old women, like there, just where it's like you spin the wheel and you get a cake if your number lands on it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And one time we won like 6 or 7 cakes.
And it's just like homemade cakes from people in the neighborhood, like people that like the ladies at the church brought.
Yeah.
That's
and
nice.
It was electric. We would get the people involved. It was like a whole big thing. Like
that's
the
really
old
fun.
people would love it.
Oh yeah.
It was the whole thing. Yeah. So it was
young
like
men.
1 to 99. You put whatever, however much it was, 25 cents or 50 cents on it, or $1, whatever it was. I don't even remember. And we would come. It definitely was changed because we would come with like bags of quarters. I
was gonna say no way it costs $1.
Yeah. We would come. Everyone would come with like bags of quarters.
Because you're getting cake.
We would show up.
Do you remember a type of cake you liked the most?
I don't even know if we ever actually like really ate them. It was more about the thrill of the game. Yeah.
That's a good story.
That's my carnival memory.
My local carnival, Holy Assumption Carnival.
Yeah.
I didn't go this year, although my parents and grandma helped sell stuffed cabbage, like always. And then
there's only one place to sell stuffed cabbage, and two, probably like a VFW and a carnival.
A carnival. So the food I remember at the carnival was stuffed cabbage, bacon bread, which apparently people don't know about.
I had no idea what it was.
It's a piece of rye bread, and then you chop up bacon super, super thin and peppers and onions.
Well, it's like the Italian breads with like pepperoni in it.
It's just a piece of bread, though. It's not rolled.
No, I know.
It's just a piece of bread.
I understand that. But that's also a thing with Italians.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and then,
I have heard of it, but in a different form.
These are the Hungarians.
Yeah.
And then you put the stuff on the bread, and then you pour bacon grease on it.
Yeah. Okay. The Italians didn't do that.
Yeah. And then fried dough, which is different from funnel cake.
But it's same function.
But it was fried dough.
Yeah.
And so then you would get your stuffed cabbage, your bacon bread, and your fried dough. And then not fried dough.
Fried dough.
Fried dough.
Yeah.
But it's fried dough, but you just say fried dough.
Yeah.
And then you get some Boost. And
Boost is the most disgusting concoction.
South Jersey trash.
It is the trashiest nonsense.
It's like a syrup.
It's
that
literally
you mix with water.
It's literally if you like let a Diet Coke sit out for like a month.
Yeah.
And then you pour
all
it
right.
into
So
a
it tastes
glass.
like a thick flat Coke.
Yeah.
With extra citric acid in it, and you drink your Boost, and then so obviously in later times we prefer the millennial generation the Boost slushies. But, you get what you get. And also, it didn't matter how much ice you put in there. Boost never gets cold. So you got your bacon bread, you got your stuffed cabbage, you got your fried dough, and then you got your Boost. And the Boost is always in a styrofoam cup. And you just go to town.
Yeah.
And then
Sure do.
I also remember once I went on the zipper ride and I didn't think I was making it out.
So just to clarify, Aaron and I are from different parts of New Jersey, so this is a whole different culture from what I was doing.
Like I said, South Jersey trash.
Yeah.
So I always enjoyed it. Once I got a fish and it died that night.
Rip.
So I loved going to the carnival. I always did. Maybe we'll go next year with our little one.
Maybe.
Holy Assumption Carnival, baby.
Why not St. Stan's?
We can go to both. And then he'll have to pick which one he likes the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was also on my way home. I was also going to the carnival when I found out that Michael Jackson died.
That's yeah.
Yeah. I came home from the beach with my friend Weston, and I dropped him off, and his mom yelled out the window to us, and she was like, Michael Jackson died. And I was like, what?
Do you know
and then I went home and I took my dad to the carnival to get ribs.
Do you know what my first thought was? I was on my home computer, the computer room computer.
Yes.
And I don't think you ever saw my
No, I
computer
didn't,
room
but
computer, but you know what I'm talking
yeah.
about. And the first thing I thought of when I saw Michael Jackson die, do you know what it was?
This is it?
No.
Oh.
It was, I feel bad for Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Because she died earlier that day.
Yeah.
And that news I read on people.com, she died. And then I found out Michael Jackson died. And I was like, no one's going to talk about Farrah Fawcett.
I forgot about Farrah Fawcett.
Exactly. So, okay, besides a carnival specifically, when you think about when you were 10 and you think about summertime, what do you think of? What's the vibe? What are you doing?
I played a lot of Little League Baseball.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I was never good, but I played it every year.
Okay.
That comes to mind. I also remember my friends. I would hang out at my friend's house all the time, and we would just play PlayStation. If we weren't going outside and playing sports or whatever, I played a lot of sports. I don't know if I have any specific summer memories from that time, like this specific type of I can make a movie out of it, but except maybe the cakes. But a lot of it was just going, hanging out, climbing trees, doing that whole thing.
That's cute.
Yeah. You?
I would go to my cousin's house and we would go in their pool and we would make movies. And the most popular one that we ever made, popular to us, is the Potato Lady.
We got to get the copies
of the Potato Lady.
Yeah.
So
Chris has to have the copy somewhere.
They're somewhere. I saw when we were at their house for 4th of July this year, I saw that a couple days ago, just out in front was their copy of the middle school production of Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh, no.
So they have stuff.
Oh, no.
They have stuff.
More than we'll ever know.
They don't get rid of stuff. So yeah, Potato Lady. I played the Potato Lady.
Okay, yeah, that tracks.
And I hobbled around.
Oh no.
And I think I was attacking Chris and Bobby. And it was I was a murderer, the Potato Lady. And I think I threw potatoes at him.
You didn't use the a peeler or anything?
That would have been too complex for us. And I had on the the little thing.
Oh no.
I was Stregonona.
Oh no. Stregonona goes downhill.
It's like when Stregonona becomes fair use and they make all the horror movies
Yes.
about her. That was me. So I remember that. I could probably make that into a movie.
Yeah.
The Potato Lady.
We'll get started on it.
Or the making of the Potato Lady.
We'll get started on it.
Okay. At what age would you want your son to watch The Sandlot? Because
There's a little bit of cursing.
There's a little bit of cursing. There's some tobacco usage.
I think he should be old enough to understand cursing and that it's wrong and what curses and that he shouldn't be doing it and what curses are. And I think the chewing tobacco thing, I don't think that really matters.
Nowadays, nobody does that really.
Nobody does it. And
in my high school, everyone did it. I was like, ew.
Well, yeah, because again,
South Jersey trash.
No, I know a lot of people who who do it too. But pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he just has to be mature enough to know what they're saying is not something you should be saying.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
It's not excessive either. So
No, it's not. It's for fun.
yeah,
It's for it's purposeful.
yeah.
So I think young, and I think that because I think using Benny as an example of not just stepping aside when there's bullies, but stepping up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other kids are kind of mean to Smalls, and they're also sissies. They don't actually do what's right, and they're followers, and Benny's not, and he really steps up and is nice.
I think that Ham is an exception to that.
Okay, but Ham's bad.
He is bad, but he also
He's in a good group of friends, though.
and he also talks crap to people, and then he backs it up. Like when he hits the home run,
Oh yeah, that's
and
funny.
then when he's trading insults with the guy from the other team, and then they just crush the other team.
Ham is the guy whose mom is like, thank goodness he's with his
He
friends.
found the right friends.
Because if he wasn't with them, he would have been in some other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that Young, because I like this movie too, and I want to watch it again.
Yeah. Especially compared to some of the other ones that we've watched for this podcast. This is an earlier one.
Yeah,
earlier
definitely.
on the trajectory for sure.
What was your favorite scene in this movie? Do you want to guess what mine is?
Yours? Is it the running away scene? Like when he's running from the dog?
No, that actually is like my least favorite scene.
Oh, because it's like fun. What's your favorite scene?
The pool scene.
That's a good one too.
Which I know
the
people are like,
the one like
blah, blah, blah.
the one like borderline problematic scene.
Yeah,
in the entire
exactly.
movie.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like, oh my god, should that not be my favorite scene? But it makes me laugh so hard.
Did you read what the director said to him?
No.
He said, very loud and clear, stern warning: do not stick your tongue out.
That's really funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's really. I also really like the brightness of it.
Yeah.
I like the bright colors. I like the splashing. I just think it like childhood pools are fun.
It made me think of the Always Sunny episode with the public pool, though.
Which is also my favorite episode. so that
good.
makes sense.
It's so good. My favorite is probably
the 4th of July game is good too. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, I
It's
like that.
Sentimental.
I just honestly,
James Earl Jones' scene.
I also like the scene when they just crushed the Little League team.
That's fun.
Like, because it gets set up and you think like, oh, this is going to be their rival for the rest of the movie, and you know it's going to be a real close game where they're going to get beaten badly and they're going to have to come back in. When it's like, no, they just destroy them, and there's never another game.
And they keep calling them girls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize your brother was on their team.
Oh God. All right.
What, you don't like that joke?
No, that's my favorite scene.
Okay. Do you like movies that are set during this time period? Like late 50s, early 60s, like that whole nostalgia thing. Like what do you think about that?
I mean, I tend to like them. It's not something that I seek out or that I look for that I find particularly interesting, to be honest. But I happen to, I guess. I like a lot of the sort of Stephen King stuff that takes place around that time, like Stand By Me and the first part of It, right?
Yep.
It's like around that time.
Yep. I think of like Back to the Future.
That's one that I haven't seen proper in a very long time, so I don't know. But yeah, but like movies like that, I'm good. I'm totally good with them. I don't find it to be like a particularly compelling time period. But what I do appreciate about these types of movies is that they're often personal, and you can tell. I would rather somebody write something that's personal and you can tell that it's personal than something that is conceptually out there and weird if it's not grounded.
Yeah.
And these types of movies tend to be more simple but also grounded.
Yeah.
And I tend to enjoy them even if they're not like my favorite movies of all time.
When I grew up, I watched a lot of them, like Stand By Me, Back to the Future, Pleasantville, American Graffiti, Grease. Like all these movies are around that time period. Sandlot, and I don't know why I just watched a lot of them. Obviously, a lot of those movies don't talk about some of the social stuff that was going on, the inequality and a lot of that. But like you said, if they're stories that are more personal in nature, then I understand the more nostalgic factor to it. So I always find it really interesting, especially because movies that came out during that time period don't look like that. So it's kind of interesting that a lot of movies that were made later that are reflecting that time period,
there's a different picture of what it was.
It looks a certain way always.
Yeah.
Like, a movie that's set between 1950 and 1965 always looks like that.
Well, our memories aren't exactly what everything was in our past or what everything looked like in our past, so it does make sense.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because it's a totally different aesthetic.
Yeah. So
yeah.
My last question for you is dun dun dun. What other movies feature a main cast of kids? It could be TV shows too. Like, it's about kids and it's like the kids, they're friends. that you like the most, or just stall and no or whatever?
I had a little bit of trouble with this with movies.
I thought of some.
I got a couple. I got Stand By Me.
The classic, the
Yeah.
one to rule them all,
Yeah.
which I love. Stand By Me. I've always loved it. I've always been kind of sad it's rated R
yeah. It
because,
should be rated R.
well, it shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, it should maybe be PG-13.
It should be PG-13.
Yeah.
And so like
What year did it come out?
86, I think.
Was it before PG-13 or like around
I
that
think
time?
it was around the time.
Okay.
Right? It's rated R? I think it is. And there's some cursing in it, but like, come on.
It has a ton of strong language, implied and displayed violence. There's also crude jokes.
Whatever.
And it also deals with adult-oriented themes.
Yeah.
Kids smoke and drink. A dead body is shown. Stories about parental, physical, and emotional abuse aren't shown but are mentioned frequently and are key to the story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So like PG-13 vibes.
This rates all like the bad things on a scale of 1 to 5, and there's nothing that has a 1.
Okay, so maybe
Maybe we should rewatch Stand By Me
it young.
and reassess that opinion.
I love that movie.
It's great.
It's excellent. So, okay, what else?
Christmas Story, which we talked about.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't think of that as a group of friends. I think of that more as a family story.
Yeah. I sort of went with like kids as the main subjects of the story.
Okay.
And this is cheating, but I said the Boss Baby.
This is the dumbest answer I've gotten from you yet. Like literally the dumbest answer I've ever heard in my life.
I had a little bit more success with TV shows.
Yellow Jackets, you're going to say?
No.
And Stranger Things?
Stranger Things, yeah. Yellow Jackets, yeah. Those weren't what I was thinking of. South Park?
Ugh, I hate these. Why did I ask this question?
South Park, it's all kids. It's all about kids.
What about Recess?
I didn't watch Recess.
It was good.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, there's a ton of those you want to do. Hey Arnold is probably my favorite. It's my probably my favorite cartoon.
Hey Arnold! Am I Helga?
I don't know. Are you? Do you have a shrine of me in our closet that I don't know about? Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Okay.
which is
The best show of all time.
No.
From everyone's always, oh my god, it's so good.
The Sopranos is the best show of all time. Have you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No.
Oh, okay. I actually felt the same way as you, and then I watched it like 4 years ago, and it is amazing.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a million cartoons I could run through, but what do you have?
I also thought of this show that came out, or this movie that came out back in the day called Now and Then,
Okay.
and it's really good.
What is it?
It's like these 4 girls, and it's like a coming of age story.
Okay. I never heard of it.
And then it's like half of them when they were kids and then half when they were adults. And like Rosie
So it's like It.
O'Donnell's in it. But she was one of the adults. And look it up. Look up the cast. One of the girls died.
Rip.
Like young.
1995. Christina Ricci.
Yes.
Thora Birch.
Yeah, it's like a big
Gabby
deal.
Hoffman.
Yeah. And then the 4th girl, she died.
Ashley Aston Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Melanie Griffith.
Yep.
Demi Moore. Rita Wilson.
It's a great cast.
Demi Moore co-produced as well.
I loved that movie growing up, and I only saw it a couple times. But
Unfavorable reviews.
listen, they can't all be winners.
Roger Ebert criticized the story. Oh, he actually compared it to Stand By Me. He said the story, it was made of artificial bits and pieces, whereas what distinguished Stand By Me was the psychological soundness of the story. We could believe it and care about it.
Okay. And then another movie was Sleepover.
Okay, never
It's
heard
about
of
girls that have a sleepover.
it.
And
Did that have a famous cast?
Well, Evan Peters is in it. It's an early role for him.
It's
And Alexa Pena Vega
okay.
of Spy Kids fame.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell plays the policeman.
There's also an Academy Award winner in the cast,
Who is it?
Brie Larson.
See, I'm telling you right
Jane
now.
Lynch was in it too,
She played the mom.
and Jeff Garlin.
I think he played the dad.
Critical failure.
Yeah.
15%.
Kaylee loved this movie.
Tween girls will enjoy this sugar-coated fluff, but others will find Sleepover a snooze.
So I guess we're doing that next week. So those are some other ones.
I guarantee you someone's going to reach out to me after listening to this and be like, oh my God, I loved Sleepover.
Sleepover was really fun. Okay. And then I mean, like, that's all I can really think
Well,
of.
I like
Let's
that
face
you
it.
gave me some totally random
Like
ones.
random ones that I grew up remembering.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. So those are my questions for you.
Okay. Do you have a favorite gum brand? Do you like gum at all? Did you ever like gum?
Okay, I only liked gum at one point in my life. I
What was it?
tried the 5 gum. I'm not into the 5
I tried
gum.
5 also.
I tried the this and that. No, but okay. I only had one time where I was super into gum, and it was back in the day. They had a gum, and it was lemonade flavored, and it got cold when you chewed it.
So you were just swayed by the gimmick.
Yeah, and I also like Bubblicious strawberry flavor,
Yeah.
and it was like a thick piece of gum.
I liked bubble tape. But for like
Can
the
you
2
look
seconds
up
before it.
the lemonade cooling gum?
Lemonade cooling gum. It says they were icebreakers.
No,
But
no,
that's
no.
not
It was
true.
not that. It
That's
was
not true.
gum. And it was lemonade.
Yeah, it says gum.
Let me see it. Let me
It's
see
an ice cube. It's an icebreaker's ice cube sugar-free gum.
Let me turn it to so I can see the picture of it. That was not it.
Okay, well I don't know what to tell you.
I'll have to look it up. But that's the gum I liked. I honestly don't really chew gum, and I liked Bubblicious strawberry.
Was it like 90s or 2000s?
I don't know, probably on the edge. Early 2000s.
There was a lightning lemonade flavor of Bubblicious.
That might be it.
It was introduced in 2005 and had LeBron James on it.
No, that was not it. It had like a thing of lemonade, and it was like a thin, tiny.
Okay.
Maybe it was extra pink lemonade.
I was a big red guy.
I didn't really like Big Red.
I did, and I agree with Ricky Bobby's sentiments on the matter.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, that's one we're gonna have to do for a milestone. That might be the movie I've seen the most in my life.
That's really funny. It was Bubblicious Lightning Lemonade with LeBron James. That was it. Just an FYI.
Great. Okay, what's the best insult in this movie? I have some of them for you if you need.
Give me some.
All right. So this is the back and forth between Ham and the guy on the other team. Watch it, jerk. Shut up, idiot. Moron. Scab eater. Butt sniffer. Puss licker. Fart smeller. You eat dog crap for breakfast, geek. You mix your Wheaties with your mama's toe jam. You bob for apples in the toilet and you like it. Finally, you play ball like a girl. Also, Squints calls Smalls an L7 weenie,
That's my favorite.
which, because I didn't realize what that meant.
I don't know what it means. A square?
L7 is a square.
Yeah, that's my
He's-
favorite.
He's a square weenie. And then there's also Ham saying, "If my dog was as ugly as you, I'd shave its butt and make it walk backwards," which got a laugh out of me.
It's all good. But
I think that one's my favorite.
L7 Weenie's the best.
Well, you play ball like a girl is funny because it's A, it's so stupid, and B, it's like given this like moment in the
It's
in
like,
the scene. Yeah, because like when you're that young, that's like the worst thing anybody could say to you,
so dumb.
especially in the '60s. Okay, what else we got? Who's your favorite kid?
Benny, because he's nice.
Benny
and he's
is nice.
helpful, and he's a leader that truly understands the purpose of being a leader. That's what it is.
That's nice.
And I like that, and I think that's a good role. I think he's a really good role model, and even me as a 10-year-old, I was like, I respect having a really good role model kid in a movie because that's what is
Of course
important
you
to me. I didn't like the guys that were mean. I didn't like the guys that were little followers. I'm like, I like the nice young man that that stands up for what's right and works hard to
helps that
achieve his dreams.
It helps that he was the tallest one
Oh, he was so cute.
and the best looking one and the one that everybody loved.
Didn't hurt.
He's in my top 3, but he's not my number 1.
Number 1 for you is Ham,
Of
and number
course.
2 is Squints.
Squints. It has to be.
Come on.
Squints is maybe the funniest.
Squints' glasses were never clean.
He might be the funniest to me, like line for line.
He's so cute.
But the actor who played Ham is just it's the perfect
He's
role.
electric.
He was made for that role.
Yeah,
he was made for the play ball scene. He was made for chirping people from when he was
I did
catching.
not like him when I watched it when I was young, and now I appreciate him, obviously.
He has to be there because he adds a lot of the color to the whole squad, you know? The other guys are kind of Squints to a lesser extent, but the rest of them are all just kind of like there, just doing their own like thing. You don't really get to know them that well.
Right.
But Squints, Ham, Benny, and Smalls are like your main crew. And Smalls is by far the worst of those four.
You were not a Smalls fan.
I was not. I understand the intent by the character, but
You're like, he actually is an L7 weenie.
he really is an L7 weenie. But yeah, so that's I would probably go with Ham as my number one. I think only because there's more depth to his character than there is to Squints, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who are your favorite fictional athletes?
Okay.
This came up. I came up with a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Let me do a 3, 2, 1 for you. Number 3 is Michelle Trachtenberg and Ice Princess.
Okay.
Number 2 is
Wait, no. Why? Why?
I don't know. I just
Is that because that's just a funny movie to bring up?
No, because I like that movie because it was like from a story from Meg Cabot, who I liked.
Okay.
And so I thought Michelle Trachtenberg was a good casting for that.
Sure.
Number 2 is the guy from Hustle.
I knew you were going to say him. Juancho Hernan Gomez.
He's so cute. He did such a good job.
He did do a good job for like a non-actor, you know?
I mean, he did a good job getting on the team.
Anthony Edwards was also great in that movie.
No, I meant he did a good job getting on the team.
Oh, he did a good job in kayfabe.
Yes. Number 1, Air Bud.
Air Bud. Air Bud is probably objectively the best athlete of all time.
He's the Air Bud.
It's like him and Joey Chestnut.
He said, boom.
Chestnut versus... Do you think Air Bud would beat Joey Chestnut in a hot dog eating contest?
Nobody would beat Joey Chestnut.
Jaws, I don't know. He's kind of on a downturn. You think Air Bud could beat him on the downturn?
He still ate 62
You think
hot dogs.
You think Air Bud could pocket 65 hot dogs in 10 minutes?
No, I don't
April might be able to.
I really don't want to think of dogs doing that because they would get sick.
They might get sick.
Those are my 3,
What
2,
do they
1.
call that?
Eating too much hot dogs?
No. When they do that at the event.
Oh, reversal of fortune.
Reversal of fortune and you get disqualified.
So there you go. Number 3, Ice Princess. 2, the guy from Hustle. And then 1, Air Bud.
Okay, great. I have more than that. I'm just going to go through a couple. I'll give you some honorable mentions, and I'll narrow it down. Benny the Jet's an honorable mention.
He's great.
He's awesome. Happy Gilmore is an honorable mention.
Okay.
You haven't gotten to that one yet, but Sandler is Happy Gilmore. A lot of the Sandler stuff, like, never really aged well. But for some reason, Happy Gilmore is, like, my favorite Sandler character of all time.
Okay.
He's the best. It's the hockey player who tries to play golf is just such a genius concept.
How do you think about Happy as a name for a kid?
Maybe. Harold Happy Gilmore.
Oh, is that what his name is?
No, I don't know. We've got those two. Then we've got the whole Rocky clan. Rocky's amazing.
Oh, yeah, Rocky. I forget that Rocky's not real.
There's 4 or 5, like, classic characters in Rocky.
You have to remember
boxers
Tom,
only.
But you have... And Phil, right? Who's the guy?
Mickey?
Oh, Mickey.
Phil is your dad. Who has a Rocky poster in his basement.
I swear there's a movie where Phil is the... Oh, I'm thinking of Hercules.
Yeah, you are, which is not Rocky.
No.
But it is like the same role as
It's
Mickey.
the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but you have to understand that in the Philadelphia area, Rocky, Apollo Creed, they're real.
Okay.
They're not fictional.
Okay.
You have to understand. There's a statue.
What about Clubber Lang and Drago? They're fictional, right?
No, the Rocky.
The whole series is real.
The Rocky universe in the Philadelphia
Thunderlips,
area.
Hulk Hogan,
Anybody who gets 6 ABC,
Jim Gardner. Anybody who knows Jim
anybody
Gardner.
who knows Jim Gardner needs to understand that. Oh, they do understand that Rocky, Apollo Creed,
Clubber Lang, Mr. T's character.
Everybody, they're real.
Okay.
Adrian's real. Okay.
Well, Rocky is real. Didn't he steal that from the Bayonne Bleeder?
Sure, but Rocky Balboa is real.
Yeah, I know, but Stallone stole the story.
Doesn't matter.
My dad's like third cousins with the guy who was the Bayonne Bleeder.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He missed out.
He did miss out. He sued.
Did he win?
I don't remember.
Probably not.
Probably
just
not.
like the guy, just like Squints.
Well, I would even count Adonis Creed at this point in that.
He's
sort of-
real.
I'm just saying in that group of guys, like, you know, because he's had 3 movies and is wildly popular. Michael
Okay.
B. Jordan's good. What else we got? Another honorable mention. My guys, Danny LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence from Karate Kid.
Okay. That's a good.
Love
one.
Cobra Kai. Love those.
That's
those
a very
movies.
good choice.
And Chosen, the guy from Karate Kid 2.
Oh, what about Bloodsport?
Oh, I forgot Bloodsport. You have both Jean-Claude Van Damme's character and the guy who was like breaking everybody's limbs and killing people.
Does Roadhouse count?
Yeah, sure. No, but yeah, sure.
He does martial arts.
He does Tai Chi. That's
Yeah.
not a sport though,
Why not?
because he's not in a competition.
Ooh, what about warrior people?
Warrior MMA.
What about
Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. The
what
fighter.
what about the Bring It On people?
Bring It On counts. I didn't put them here, but they totally count. I have
Torrance and Isis. Those are the two leads.
There's also A League of Their Own, but I haven't seen that in so long
yeah, that's a good one.
I wouldn't necessarily put them just because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Peaches.
But I'll give you my
What about the Bruiser Brothers?
the Bruiser from what is that from?
What are their names?
What?
From the Lonely Island did it?
Oh, the Bash Brothers.
Yeah.
Those are real people.
Oh.
That's Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire.
They're not real.
Oh, okay, but the Rocky people are real.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've also got Jess Brana from Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I love that movie. It's so good.
And
what about Dennis Rodman?
He's fake. You're right. He's not real. He's definitely. If there was a cartoon character in real life, he'd be a strong candidate for that role.
Yeah.
Rodman not real. Turns out. Also, the Major League team, the whole team.
Oh, that's fun.
Specifically,
Charlie Sheen.
Wesley Snipes and Charlie Sheen are probably the two characters from that movie.
What about Dennis Haysbert?
and Dennis Haysbert, the Allstate guy.
Yeah.
As the guy with the voodoo doll.
Yep.
It's kind of racist, but
he's a good character though. He is
a good character, and he's sort of a fleshed out character too. But I'll give you my top three.
But anybody playing pickleball, like they can't
Is there
be
a
serious.
pickleball movie?
They just can't be serious.
Oh, okay, they're fake.
You know what I mean?
Here's my top three. Number 3, Ricky Bobby.
That's good.
Ricky Bobby is the greatest. He's the greatest NASCAR driver of all time.
Why is he number 3?
Because number 2, I actually miscounted. He's number 3. We're gonna go with.
Oh my! This is so embarrassing. You couldn't count to 3?
I couldn't count to 3 because I had 7 here and I kept counting down.
What about the guy from A Beautiful Mind?
He's not an athlete.
Mathlete.
This is chaos. Let's see. Best athletes.
Paul
in
Walker
movies.
in the characters in Fast and Furious.
Okay.
They're good at racing,
Yeah.
right?
But
that's not. Wait, they don't do racing. They just steal stuff.
no, they
right?
just. Well, even in the first one, it's like underground street racing.
I forgot that they steal stuff.
Yeah. Number 2, I'm just gonna give to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Airplane.
Oh, that's good.
Wasn't it? I mean, I think he plays. Does he play Kareem Abdul? Doesn't he make a reference to him being Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the movie?
Don't remember.
He says something like.
So this is completely not what the question is. You just picked an athlete who played a role.
You said that the Rocky people are real. And that Dennis Rodman is fake.
Let's stick to the script here, Tom.
Number 1 of all time. I couldn't go with G-Baby from Hardball because he didn't play because he was too young. So I'm going to go with Jamal, who was Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, he's in Hardball?
Yeah, he's the pitcher and he wears headphones.
That's cute.
And he only listens to Big Papa.
That's
and
cute. Yeah, right.
In the big game, he's not allowed to wear
And
the
they sing
headphones,
it.
and the whole team sings it, and they all do like the wave thing for him.
That's cute.
Yeah, so he's my number 1 of all time, Jamal from Hardball.
Never saw Hardball.
I saw it in theaters. It came out like right after 9/11.
I feel like we talk about 9/11 a lot on this podcast.
Well, we live in the area, so I don't think that's an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was your trivia is that it was the movie that was number 1 at the box office the week of 9/11.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So we're going with Jamal from Hardball.
Okay. Good choices.
Is that all my questions? It might be all my questions.
It's totally unhinged.
All right.
Wait, what about the Packers guys in Pitch Perfect 2?
As long as they're themselves and not playing
Wait,
characters.
they are themselves, so that doesn't count. Because they have to be fictional, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so that doesn't count.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna give you the final 4.
Mighty Ducks?
So ESPN did an official ranking of the greatest fictional athletes in 2019, and it was a whole bracket. I'm not going to go through the whole bracket.
Semi-pro?
Jackie Moon in Semi-Pro. He's my number 2. Sorry, Kareem. That's 2 Will Ferrell characters in my top 3 of all time.
All right, what about Lola Bunny?
Yeah, you could count
The
those.
Monstars,
You could do the whole Space Jam thing.
What about wait,
White Man Can't Jump.
Oh yeah, White Man Can't Jump.
But I haven't seen that in too long.
Okay.
They have Forrest Gump an 8 seed here.
He does run a lot. Oh, and ping pong.
Yeah, so ESPN did a greatest sports athlete whole bracket, and I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but because we've named a lot of them already, but
Who hasn't been named yet?
a lot of them. But here's the ones that haven't been named: Amanda Wurlitzer from Bad News Bears.
Okay. Tatum O'Neal.
I think so. Crash Davis from Bull Durham, Roy Hobbs from The Natural.
Okay.
Jesus Shuttlesworth from He Got Game. Jimmy Chitwood from Hoosiers.
Oh.
Scott Howard from Teen Wolf.
Oh, yeah.
Neon Boudreaux from Blue Chips.
Don't know that.
Monica Wright from Love and Basketball.
Oh, okay.
Billy Hoyle from White Man Can't Jump. We named Air Bud. Sydney Dean from White Man Can't Jump. Willie Beeman, Any Given Sunday. That's a good one. Maggie Fitzgerald, $1 Million Baby.
Oh.
Paul Crew, The Longest Yard. Dean Youngblood. Adam Banks, The Mighty Ducks. Isis. Oh, you said Isis. Bring it on. Reggie Dunlop, Slapshot. And that's it. And the final four were what?
That's just funny.
Dottie from A League of Their Own beat Jesus Shuttlesworth in the final four to get to the finals against what?
Jesus Shuttleworth?
That's Ray Allen's character in He Got Game.
Okay.
And Rocky Balboa beat Happy Gilmore to make it into the championship, in which Rocky defeated Dottie from A League of Their Own.
Rocky is real, though, so.
Right, so Dottie pretty much won, but you never know what would happen if it was Dottie against Happy, so.
But it's kind of weird because Dottie also was based on a real person.
Yeah, but nobody knows the real person. Rocky was kind of based on a real person, too.
No one knew who he was.
Exactly. All right, so I have one more question, and it's why are baseball movies the best sports movies, but it's one of the most boring sports?
Because you can flesh stuff out there.
And I think it's nostalgic.
Also, baseball's like America's game, so you got that whole
Actually, Wheel of Fortune is America's game.
That's true. So shady.
Yeah.
They should make a Wheel of Fortune movie.
They should.
Maybe that'll take the number one spot from baseball.
All right.
I don't know, honestly, if baseball makes the best sports movies.
Okay.
I think that you can make an argument that fighting does.
I feel like baseball has a higher percentage of good movies than any other sport.
What about fighting?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Boxing, MMA.
But those are different sports.
Okay.
But unless because you can't count
what about fighting?
You can't count blood sport as the same thing as the fighter. It's not the same thing.
Oh, the fighter's a good one.
Yeah.
Bloodsport's a good one.
Bloodsport's a great one.
That is a good movie.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all my questions. I'm going to look at some of my comments. I don't have many that I haven't said already. Babe Ruth has the greatest Wikipedia page of all time. I just wanted to say that. I read it every now and then. I'm not going to go through it. There's too much there. If you're listening to this, go read Babe Ruth's Wikipedia page. It's one of my favorite books.
Do you think he's the greatest baseball player of all time?
I've never watched him play at all.
Not even you didn't see Babe Ruth highlights and it's that
maybe.
song.
Oh yeah, I'm a boss.
Yeah, I'm a boss.
No, I haven't. But it's amazing. It's so good. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's everything I need to know about Babe Ruth.
You should read a book by him or about him.
Why would I do that when I've read his Wikipedia page?
Because you get more fun stuff.
No, that it is the fun stuff on the Wikipedia page. It's so great. What else? I wrote, how wild were American diets back in the day? These kids are drinking full Cokes at 8 a.m. while playing sports.
We did that.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that with Cokes. I did it with Gatorade. It's different.
You didn't have people that were coming in with full-on boosts and
no
hot Cheetos?
No boost.
No hot Cheetos at 7 a.m.?
Maybe hot Cheetos at 7 a.m. I don't know. I can't confirm that.
I would have people come in with a whole half gallon of Wawa Arnold Palmer's, and then in the other hand, they would have a giant bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos done by second period.
Doing that is one thing, but drinking Cokes and playing baseball is another thing.
I knew somebody who, before gym class every day, ate 6 honey buns.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Before every day he would eat 6 honey buns.
People wonder why this is the most obese country in the world. I also wrote, Squints is down bad with Wendy Peppercorn.
Loves Wendy. Wendy's so cute.
The quote, maybe the shock of his first homer was just too much for him. I've never had that feeling in my entire life. I've never hit a home run playing slow pitch softball, rec league baseball. Never.
Never had anything like that happen
Never done that.
where like you like I don't know
I'm-
named like a president or something. And you were like, oh my God, I did it, Millard Fillmore.
James Buchanan.
Yeah, no, you never had that moment of like, oh my God, I did it.
Well, I'm talking specifically about the first homer.
Maybe you should work on that.
I have been. I have no knees left. So I do feel like an old baseball player. I also wrote, kids' adventures are the best because everything seems so trivial, but like means so much to you when you look back on it.
Love it.
Their various schemes are the perfect example of human ingenuity and technological advances. They even had a drone.
It's good stuff. Very creative.
Everything just gets a little bit more advanced as it goes, and it's like man versus nature kind of thing.
So good.
I repeat, cast James Earl Jones in every movie. I wrote, the Beast is cute. I love him and hope he doesn't maul Benny. And then it turns out he's a good dog.
Yeah, he's so sweet. So sweet.
I also said, wild ball trade by James Earl Jones. He could have waited like 4 more years.
He said, I got all this other stuff. Why
He
do I
could've-
need it?
I don't think he realizes how much money he could have made on eBay like 4 years later.
He doesn't care.
He should care.
4 years later than 1962.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking 93. Like, I guess, okay, he might not have been around for eBay.
No.
Okay, that's fair. All right, what do we got? We got some trivia. You already said the one about the guy who sued. I also have...
I have one for you.
Go for it.
The kid who played Benny, his older brother, played adult Benny.
Yeah, they look way different in age.
They probably are.
Yeah. Okay.
He died. That was sad.
The older guy?
Yeah, of cancer. It was fast, like in the 2000s.
After the kids chew tobacco, they fall ill. The vomit used in the ride scene was made from split pea soup, baked beans, oatmeal, a little water, and some movie gel, which is like kind of basically what we feed our kid every day.
It is disgusting.
They used paint guns to discharge it, and they actually nailed a few people in real life by accident. The chewing tobacco was made from beef jerky and licorice, and some of the actors legitimately became sick during the scene. Many of the young actors snuck into a nearby movie theater to watch a movie that came out in 92 that is highly inappropriate for kids to be watching.
What was it?
Basic Instinct.
That is not appropriate at all.
There's the lawsuit. Much of the movie was based on Evans's childhood, including the mythical Beast, which came from a real incident involving his brother's attempt to recover a baseball from a neighbor's yard. But in real life, Evan's brother didn't befriend an elderly ex-ball player. He just, quote, ended up getting attacked by the dog.
It's like the cat man
Yeah, it's like the potato lady.
and the potato lady.
Don't go into the potato lady's yard.
Nope.
And
I honestly, though, I was on the front sidewalk.
don't go on the front sidewalk. Your street kind of has a potato lady now, if that's the case, out on the front sidewalk.
Sharon? Yo, be nice.
You don't have to name drop.
Sharon?
And finally, the late Kobe Bryant watched this movie every 4th of July with his family.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Yeah.
a good last.
He
little
tweeted about
show.
it too.
That's so cute.
Yeah. What else we got? We got the Ebert review. How many stars?
Give 3.
3. And a thumbs up.
I know my Ebes.
He said, if you have ever been lucky enough to see A Christmas Story, you will understand what I mean when I say The Sandlot is a summertime version of the same vision. Both movies are about gawky young adolescents trapped in a world they never made and doing their best to fit in while beset with the most amazing vicissitudes, whatever that means. Neither movie has any connection with the humdrum reality of the boring real world. Both tap directly into a vein of nostalgia and memory that makes reality seem puny by comparison. Then later on he says, memories are sharper, colors are brighter, events are more important, and a life can be changed forever in the course of a sunny afternoon. These days, I don't know what he's referring to, but these days too many children's movies are infected by the virus of winning with a capital W, as if kids are nothing more than underage pro athletes and the values of Vince Lombardi prevail.
When did Mighty Ducks come out?
Yeah. And the values of Vince Lombardi prevail. It's not how you play the game, but whether you win or lose. This is a movie that breaks with that tradition, that allows its kids to be kids, that shows them in the insular world of imagination and dreaming that children can create entirely apart from adult domains and values. There was a moment in the film when Rodriguez hit a line drive directly at the pitcher's mound, and I ducked and held up my mitt, and then I realized I didn't have a mitt. And it was then that I also realized how completely this movie had seduced me with its memories of what really matters when you are 12. Roger Ebert.
Crying. He's like the best.
And is that it? That might be it. Is that usually it?
Yeah.
Oh, the taglines. There were 4 taglines. I only really liked one of them. All right, the first one, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Okay.
The adventure of a lifetime, the summer of their dreams, the dog of their nightmares.
That one's alright.
That
I
actually
like
is
that
a pretty good one. That's not the one I was referring to, though. No uniforms, no problem. No girls, no problem. No ball, big problem.
I like that one. That's
I don't
funny.
like that one. That's stupid.
I like all these.
They're more than a team. They're the best buddies in the history of the entire world.
I love that one. That one's amazing.
And this is the one I really like. A piece of paradise, a half block wide and a whole summer long.
Oh, I like that too. I like all of them. I'm a sucker for a tagline.
They're the best buddies in the entire history. The entire history of the world.
Who's better?
What do you mean who's better?
Who's King Tut's buddy?
Rocky and Apollo.
No.
All right. So does the Sandlot make Baby's first watch list? One of our questions was, when is he going to watch this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine this. This was the one where we were like, you know what? I don't know. We got to call it. We got to call it on the Sandlot.
Next week, Jaws.
Yeah. Next week we're doing Jaws. Do you have any takeaways? This whole movie is kind of a takeaway.
Yeah. My takeaway is this: when you
You're like the kid. Did you ever
when you did it? When you look back on your childhood, this isn't really advice. It doesn't need to be advice, right?
Just a takeaway.
It's just like, the things that really matter in life are not what you do, but who you spend your time with.
Sure. I have 2.
Okay.
Don't go into strange neighbors' houses, especially when he asks you to keep coming back to talk baseball with him. That's weird.
Okay, but if it's James Earl Jones,
We can maybe make an exception.
yeah.
And number 2, similarly, if you hit a ball into a yard and there's a scary dog there that you literally think eats kids, just ask me to help.
Yeah.
I will help out. I won't go get it, but I will buy you a new ball,
There you go.
assuming I can afford it.
98 cents,
yes.
hopefully.
Yes. I don't know, with inflation in 2023,
Who knows?
$1.05, who knows? Yeah, so that is The Sandlot. Hope you enjoyed and hope you watched it ever, because it's great. And
So
if you
good.
haven't, watch it.
Yeah.
Next week, we're doing 1975's Jaws to continue our summer-themed month.
Steven Spielberg classic.
Steven Spielberg, the movie that created the summer blockbuster.
Your friend Mark's favorite movie.
I'm no joke, I have like paragraphs of stuff about Jaws from Mark. So
Did you ask him if he wants to
I did. I have not gotten a
confirmation?
I've gotten a little
Some people don't.
trepidation.
Some people don't want to be on. It's okay.
He said it sounds great, but I don't think I would contribute anything. As
That's
he
what
said,
they always say.
I know, and everyone's great. And then he sent me like 5 paragraphs of stuff. I'm like, just come on and talk about it.
All I'm gonna do is ask him fun questions.
Yeah, and we'll do it on Zoom. Like it's not I mean, he's not in the state, so
All right, we'll ask.
it'll be
him.
fine. We'll
Ask
try
him
and
again.
get our friend Mark on, but if not, it'll be just us. Boring. For Jaws next week, and yeah, I haven't watched it in a very long time, so I'm very excited to talk about it.
I don't think I watched the second half of it.
Okay, I watched it, and I've obviously been on the RIP, the ride at Universal Studios, but
It's kind of like a Moby Dick story, right?
sort of, yeah,
Yeah.
with a little bit more, I don't know, teeth.
Ooh.
All right, so this was The Sandlot, and we will see you for Jaws next week.
Bye.
See you later.